Hey guys, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everyone!
Yay! This is Queen Bonisa.
Yo, I got legitimately scared there. Dang, Joe, dang.
The audio
Captain
listeners,
I forgot.
you need to watch the video. You
Dude,
need to
I
understand what just happened.
Joe, I forgot your name on this pod because, like, you really scared me. My God.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
our...
sorry.
I didn't know you. Wala lang. I guess.
And lumamo yung mata niya.
Yeah.
Naglases yung ghost.
Medyo, I didn't know you weren't into scary things. It's interesting. No,
Scaredy cat din si
I'm
Benj.
molded.
I am
Oh.
the biggest scaredy cat. Ironically, like
Really?
I'm really bad bench, based on really bad boy, which is a horror theme. But no, I can't do scary guys.
Interesting.
Ayan. I wore glasses na, para not as scary.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we going to
Keep
introduce
ghost.
our costumes?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
sure.
okay.
Okay,
Go,
let
go,
me go
go.
back to my costume.
Go, Jack.
Sorry.
May pa-sound effects ka ba?
Should I go for the sound effects?
You already
No.
did it.
I'm Kayako from The Grudge.
Solid.
The
Okay.
Mumu.
The Mumu.
Yes, the Mumu.
So, fan siya ng mama mo.
Oh,
Really
witty.
sorry.
Ah.
Put it right there. I had to. Okay,
Go, Meg.
I'll go next. I feel like if you can guess, if you were able to guess before I said it, I'm very proud of you. It's very relevant because we're a K-pop podcast and because they're last week. But look, I'm Jin. I'm Gift Jin. Oh my gosh, my phone isn't. Oh, but look, look at that.
Look
See,
at
really-
that.
Love
I'm
it.
so proud of this costume. That's it.
Bench.
I am, this is such an obscure reference. I'm Jushin Thunder Liger from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's go! Yeah, wrestling fan, K-pop fan. I don't even know anymore, guys.
We love the diversity.
Me, I'm just a
duality.
yellow bear. Who wants to say cheers?
I thought
that's
you'd
me.
be Winnie the Pooh, but no.
Oh,
Yes.
No, I'm not wearing the red.
Oh, it would have
Damn
been,
it.
it would have been perfect, to be Winnie the Pooh. It's kind of topical these days. Don't want to get canceled.
Ah.
No
Love
context.
it.
No context.
No context, but
I love Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, I love honey and bears and Tiglet.
why?
Tiglet.
What were you guys thinking?
No, just kidding. All right, guys. I know that we have like a topic today about like something scary, and this is kind of related to that. I just wanted to share since this is our greeting each other phase. Today, I decided to make a latte. So why did I make a latte today?
Because it's scary. What?
Oh my god.
Oh,
Celebration.
it's Mandarin.
I love it.
For you. You know what? I was thinking it would. Well, I know some people did. For sure, some people did, and I saw some people have a Zoom party, and their costume theme was their favorite photo cards. So I was just thinking, okay, what if you could do a latte read?
This-
Right? Yeah, I like that.
This is your sign. If you're listening to us on Spotify, watch us on Facebook because the resemblance.
Yes, for the visuals.
The resemblance is striking.
For the original visual.
Yes! Bench,
Siya
the
talaga yung visual
original
ng group
visual.
namin. Really
Siya yung
bad
visual.
bench. Yeah, he's the
Oh
visual.
my gosh, the overweight
Bakit
fat
may
guy is the
visual?
visual of the.
Which makes me think, yeah, if we were a K-pop group,
Oh wow.
bench being the visual, who
Fat,
would you be?
out of shape.
You know what, Ben?
How about- Who's
don't
gonna be
do
your
that.
leader?
Um,
Johanna.
Okay.
No.
I agree. Bon, you
Johanna's
can
gonna be the
lead
leader.
vocals, obviously.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, main dancer Meg.
Main dancer
Main
Meg.
dancer si
Main
Meg.
dancer Meg. Let's
I
go.
can. I can. I'll take
Let's
Rapper.
go, Tata Meg.
ano na lang, fake maknae. Because I'm not even the youngest.
Oh my gosh, wait, I'm the actual maknae.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
that's
and you're the
cute.
visual.
And you're the
Wow.
visual.
Well, Chewy. Joke lang, joke lang.
Exactly.
Well, I can volunteer to be the dancer,
Proud.
but I can't dance.
Lalisa
Let's
would be
volunteer.
proud though. Lalisa
I'll
would be
be-
proud.
Sige, I'll learn how to rap.
Yes.
Wow.
Hindi ako marunong mag-beatbox.
Ayan
Boom,
guys,
boom, 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 boom.
we got ourselves a
Boom, boom,
group, and since it's like, November, it's SG season, I guess it would be a good time here to announce, we're giving away one Red Velvet Season's Greetings 2022!
Oh my god.
Yay!
You know, Rebel Loves are gonna be spoiled in this podcast
I
because
know.
our visual, really bad bench, is
So
the
generous.
richest among us.
Wait, what? Yo, no, I am broke.
He's
I
just
just...
generous with his stuff.
He's
Yes.
just very generous.
Give
Siguro
love
in
to
2
Red
to 3
Velvet.
years, guys, Blanks and Mumus will be spoiled in 2 to 3 years.
Hi, Army. Alam niyo naman, hirap tayo kasi ang daming
Um,
laban.
As
na lang
we
maibibigay.
love and Cassiopeia, all I can say is wala naman
Ayun.
tayong ganap. So, ano ipapamigay ko?
Oh no.
Your,
It's so
your
sad.
thoughts.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers. But yeah, guys,
Let's
if there's,
go.
if there,
What are we
if there are
talking
Rebel
about
Loves,
this week? What's our spooky Halloween?
since
No,
you
no,
mentioned
no.
fandoms, I guess that's a
Yes.
good thing to talk about.
Yes,
Happy
fans.
Halloween, fan.
Happy Halloween.
Let's go
Right.
for
Before we go
Quiet.
there to the main topic, we have to talk about our mood playlist for this week.
Right.
So,
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
kaya ko? To get the name right.
Rar. Yes, I'm the ghost. Lol.
Go Ghost.
Okay, so our emoji playlist, I entitled it Pitter Patter, because the sound of the rain. But like the emojis, what are they again? This is the food one.
It's a
Which one
rice
is it?
cracker.
Yeah, it's a rice cracker. It's a
The moon
frowny.
card.
Yes, a frowny face. They have, yeah, it's a Japanese card, and then
Hanafuda,
a yeah, the card, and then a storm cloud, I think, right? Yeah. So before I go into my playlist, how I arranged it, the songs I picked are food related, but it's like playing mind games and having a storm of feelings. So for you guys, how did you pick your songs for the playlist? Before I get to tell the story of the playlist itself.
Joe, you mentioned something about food and storms. I'm being very honest with you here. That applies to my choices, but I did not think that way. My thought process was just pick the Japanese songs of your favorite groups.
Yeah, I noticed.
But apparently, it actually worked out with the theme. There, I picked that. I picked that song. Because I
Yeah.
listened to it. I thought it was cool. And then when Joe said "Storm of Feelings," oh my god, it actually kind of works. It's also
Yeah.
why, it's also why I picked Kura Kura by Twice also. So it's Vampire, Kura Kura, and very food related #cookie jar. So all Japanese releases by my favorite girl groups.
Yeah. How about Meg? Let's go, Tata Meg.
I also went for a similar theme of Japanese songs, food, rain. So I was thinking the story in my head was I don't know, it's always a love story, but maybe spending a rainy day with a loved one. So I have Just One Day, I think, the Japanese version, which is a song by BTS. I have a song about rain, and then I have one of my songs. It was so sweet when I read about it, because apparently, and I watched the music video. Apparently, you know how for Asians especially, food is like a love language. Like, you ask, "Kumain ka na ba? Have you eaten? What did you eat today?" So Eat, that's one of my songs. Eat, by who is this? Zion T. That's kind of the theme. It's like expressing love through food. So I just picked And the last one was Rain by Soyu and Baekhyun. So very, very literal to the emoji. But I like this one.
Bon. Bon.
Hi, for
Yeah.
me and the dogs of the neighbors, if you hear them. I actually chose songs based on their titles. So you have Peter's Sweet, you have Sun and Moon, You, Clouds, Rain. So
Yeah.
actually, I went to Spotify and then went like Moon playlist, K-pop, and chose whatever songs seemed like the title fits our Moon playlist, our emojis. So like, yeah, that's how I picked the songs. They're actually kind of cool, and um, it's actually about, I think some of the songs, two of the songs at least as I remember it, is about longing for someone
Yeah.
coincidentally. So like,
Yeah.
oh, good
It was a
choices,
good
me.
choice though. Like it fits the story in my head.
Okay, go, 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 go. What's the
Oh
story?
yeah, I forgot to say what my songs were. It's Catalina by Orange Caramel, Candy by HOT, and Champagne by You Know from TVXQ. Okay, so just a heads up. My story, I wanted it to be parallel storyline, and the structure would be parallel and circular. So later on, you'd see why it's like that. I wanted to go for a discordant um playlist. Like there's a lack of harmony that's pronounced in the playlist, and the transition seems jarring. Like okay, so it's happy, but then why is it sad all of a sudden? So I wanted to go for that. So my story begins with character one reminiscing about a past relationship and accepting that she misses her lover. And then it goes on talking about how she passes by the house of her ex. It's the song You Clouds Rain. It's by Bon, right? I think that's hers. So it starts with that. So it starts with the lovers already separated. And then we go to a flashback. Starts with cookie jar. Hashtag cookie jar. It I made it like this because it sounded flirty to me, and like how starting a relationship, it's like there's a killing factor and stuff, and no meow. And how I wanted it to be like this is character one's personality. She's flirty and she wants to be in a relationship, but she's not necessarily in love. So that's the story she's going for. And then the next one is Kura Kura. Um Twice, right? So in this song she finally admits that she's she's having feelings for this other person, and she knows that her feelings are reciprocated. So she's the confident one in the relationship in the story. And then we go to HOT's Candy, wherein Candy is about wanting to break up with someone, but then deciding, oh no, I won't break up with you. So she's getting tired of the relationship because she thinks it was supposed to be a fling, so she wants to break up. But then when she is supposed to meet her lover, she realizes, oh no, I won't break up with you. I want to be with you. And then we have Just One Day, the Japanese version, BTS. They're happy together, but because of things like work, etc., it's difficult to find time together. So the song is about having one day to go with your lover and stuff. So that's the drama of the story. It's like you don't have time for one another. And then we have Sun and Moon. So Sun and Moon is about long distance. So it fits with one day because you want to have a day of with your lover. And then Sun and Moon is about a long distance relationship. So she wants to be together but they can't. So we end character one story there. And then we go to character two, wherein this character admires this girl she sees, and how she's unsure of what she feels. Do you guys notice what I'm using here? She. It's a sapphic love story, guys. Because Catalina is about a girl admiring another
Love,
girl.
love it.
Yes.
Wait, that's
So,
what Catalena's about? Why is the music video about sashimi?
cause they're admiring the the squid one. They're like they want to be like her, cause she's the one that always gets sold out. Cause they're the other fish they're like they
You know,
get stuck there.
my mind went somewhere different, and I'm not gonna say it
Yeah.
because this is a PG podcast.
Not gonna lie, my mind was kind of there. I was like, oh, is it because?
I mean, dude, there was like imagery of like tuna
Your
and
mind was just
salmon and
hungry.
stuff.
Yes. No. That's an issue with the music video. Yeah. So anyway, for this story, it's a sapphic love story. If you look at the lyrics, it's like admiring but not knowing, what she's feeling. But then she's in love. So she falls in love with character 1. And then but she's not sure with Catalina. So we go to Champagne by and she lets go of her inhibitions and admits that she's fallen in love and they get together. But then, the thing is, character 2 is a novice in relationships. So we go to Vampire, wherein she wants everything from her girlfriend. Like time together, the lyrics of Vampire, it's like, you want to suck the other person because you want everything about them and stuff. So this causes the first hardship in the relationship. Call back to Candy by HOT. This is the reason why character 1 originally wanted to break up. But then they stay together. And so we have Eat by Zion T. Because they're not together physically. So she wants to remind her girlfriend to eat, it's a stressful time after work and stuff. So if you have a difficult time, you should eat, take care of yourself, because she can't take care of her lover physically. And then we have Bittersweet. This is where the relationship is going south. It's becoming rocky. They don't see eye to eye anymore. And eventually, they break up. And then we go to Rain. So this is back to the beginning of the story. It's raining and character 2 is reminiscing about her ex-girlfriend. And if you read the lyrics, it's about am I still waiting for you and stuff like that. And then you realize that character 2 is still in love. She's still waiting for her ex-girlfriend, not knowing that at that exact moment her ex-girlfriend is passing by her house thinking about her too. So it's circular going back to You Clouds Rain. That's why I said it's a parallel circular storytelling. There you go.
Ganda. Nice story, though. Oh, I love it. That's fanfic fodder right there.
Yo,
Yes, Scarlet.
can I just say I am glad to have some representation across the board because most of our stories have
Yeah, I know.
it's either been like open to interpretation, but you just assume that this is a very traditional hetero relationship. So I'm very glad that you got-
Heteronormative.
screw the heteronormative agenda, and I say that
Yeah.
I say that as a cishet male. So
Be one of us, Char. Okay. I don't know. I kind of like the story though.
It's very nice.
I love the story. It was and I
love it.
like how you tied everything together in a way that makes so much sense.
Yeah. It's very
Thanks.
seamless. You wouldn't know that 4 people contributed songs. It's like just one person had the story in mind already.
Thanks. I just chose randomly and like,
but-
ooh, this could work.
I mean, I love the fact that we use this exercise to really just like one discover new songs, but also like really make stories out of songs that we don't
Yeah.
understand the language to. Because now we added Japanese into the mix, and I'm like,
I know.
I don't even speak Korean, my guy.
I
With
love
regards
it.
to that, I just chose randomly the titles and based on the mood.
I love how we're still able to tie it together into a story. Even if some of us are like, oh, I thought so much about the songs I picked, then some of us are like, Oh yeah, I just went very literal.
Yeah, I love it. It's so
It's so
weird that
nice.
we get to have a story.
I guess it also
Okay.
speaks to how they make music, like certain symbols or themes. Like if it's rain, it's most likely going to be sad and reflective. If it's the
Yeah,
moon, you're in that kind of thing.
I love it.
Nice.
I love how it's like that. Okay,
Yeah.
done with the mood playlist.
So that's the mood playlist. So we'll start with the word of the day to introduce our topic for today. Our word of the day is sasaeng. I don't know
All
if I
right,
pronounced
our
that
word
right.
of the day is I don't know how to pronounce it either.
It's
Anyway,
okay.
Yeah, it's Sasaeng.
anyway, the meaning of this word is to cook rice.
Yes.
Saeng.
Araw-araw po tayo nagsasaing. Anyway.
Cancel me right now.
Cancelled. Anyway,
What is this?
Korean
What does it
wise,
mean?
I think it's about obsessive fans. I think that's basically how you describe sasaengs. And they intrude on the privacy of the idols that they cross the border from being just a normal fan to the overboard obsessive fans.
Yeah.
So
And-
with go.
No, I actually just wanted to say that was a. I mean, like, just to remind ourselves, we're all fans here. We all admire, but there is a very fine line. And once that line has been crossed, there is no going back. So, this is the perfect way to introduce the topic that you were. So, as you were, Bon.
And to introduce the topic, we have a song, Wrong Number by TVXQ. I think Johanna would
Yes.
like to introduce this as our Cassiopeia.
Yes. Okay, so Wrong Number by TVXQ is a song from their fourth album, Mirotic. This was also their last album together as five members. Anyway, there are rumors about what the song is about, but one of which is about Sasaengs. Well, during this time, Sasaeng wasn't a thing yet. If I'm not mistaken, they were called privates at the time. Because Sasaeng comes from sa life or private, and then seng life. Yeah, so it's literally like private life. So there you go. The song, it talks about how. Wait, let me get the lyrics. How.
Or Ben just shocked at like
Yeah, no, because
so
okay,
much
okay.
That's
So,
those
so,
same.
so the reason why like private life was her private life was the name of one of my favorite K-dramas starring Park Min Young, and it's literally about somebody who's not an
Yeah.
obsessive fan, but she's a huge fan.
Yeah. I know that. I know that series.
Okay, makes
I
sense.
love it so
now.
much.
Yeah, right? Sa is private and sang is life. So that's why it's like that. So
Such a light bulb moment, man. I'm like,
well, during my time they were called privates before they were called Sasaengs. So TVXQ has this song, right? So looking at the lyrics, some of them you'd notice is about having someone in your life that's restricting you and like wants to know everything about what you're doing. The first, even just the first line of the song, it's you call me at least 12 times a day to check if by chance I'm on the line with somebody, you leave a suspicious message. That's the first stanza. And then you have lines about as if you're my mother, you know my whole day. You're always worried about who I am with as if it's for me. You have lines like you try to make an excuse by saying you were curious. It's like if you read into it, it makes sense that it's about Sasaengs because it's how they're restricted by the love that they receive from the fans, and how the fans intrude on their private life. even the music video, there are parts of the music video wherein a member receives a call, or there's a shot of like a CCTV moment of two members just passing by each other, if I'm not mistaken. So this, I think this is a really great introduction to Sasaengs, because this is a work by the artists themselves detailing what they experience. But I'm not necessarily sure if they wrote this, but this is a great song
I have one
for
question.
them. Yeah.
How is it like? I know it kind of makes sense in the context of what we're talking about, but how did we get this song to mean Sasaeng versus just like a regular toxic relationship? What's
Yeah,
the
I know.
nuance?
That's the thing. The thing though is TVXQ is one, if not the most disturbed by Sasaengs. Like, I'm not sure if it's ever, but as far as recorded history,
Well,
let's call it.
they really paved the way in so many ways. So I guess
It's funny
no.
hearing the words "paved the way" from the
I
army
know.
of the group.
I know.
Right?
Anyway,
But like, I mean, no joke. For those who do not know, at some point, TVXQ had a fan club with around 800,000 members. So when you have that many, registered members, you have more not registered members. So you would notice how, because you have a lot of fans, you also have a lot of these privates, a lot of people who want to know more about you. Because how an idol is presented is they're supposed to be personable, they're supposed to be this and that, and you embody this ideal. You're like there, when in the Western stuff we have internet boyfriend. Here it's like the idols are your boyfriend. So yeah, so
This was a Sasaeng song. I think,
yeah,
isn't it like normal for idols to get like calls from them?
I
I
think
think
that's
it's
the
very apt to,
thing.
I
you've
mean,
got the wrong number,
Yeah,
you've got the wrong number.
like
yeah.
when we say calls, there are like there are regulated fan sign calls and things like that. But I feel like now that we're going into the territory of, oh hey, I know this person's number, I know this person's address, I know everything. Like, that's, I think, the creepy part.
It
And
is. It is.
the one thing I really want to figure out in this discussion on Sasaeng, since it's already been opened, now that we've talked about wrong number, is what makes a Sasaeng different from a regular crazed fan from the Western side of things, right? Like, what are the things that really gave birth to this term Sasaeng?
Guys, it's, how do we explain this? Okay.
There's
So
a actually there's I wanted to use that as a segue because I wanted to just figure out, why do people look at us people as weird? What what did we do wrong?
okay. So I think one of the things we have to remember is that um laws and punishment for stalking in the West, they have those. In Korea, not as much, if I'm not mistaken. I think recently they have better control and better laws for it. But like when K-pop was starting, it wasn't a thing. They didn't really expect this to be a thing, and a lot of the Sasaeng fans are minors. A lot of them are minors or young adults. Like,
you know
it's
what?
messed up.
That makes it harder kasi syempre on the one hand, them being minors, they also need protection, right?
Yeah,
Especially
that's right.
Can you
nowadays,
press
online and
charges
stuff.
on a minor?
Yeah,
I
but
don't
at the
think you
same
should, right?
time,
But yeah.
yeah, of course. But at the same time, what if they're doing actual damage already?
Because
Diba?
they are. A lot of them are. So
Man.
that's the thing about it. It was young adults and minors who were susceptible to becoming sasaengs. Um, so I'm sorry, but like one of my sources, it's a G-doc that we pass around in the fandom of uh Cassiopeia fandom, because it details the story of how the boys were terrorized by Sasaengs for a really long time. Also, cause there was a scandal in 2012, 2011, about JYJ, the members who left. There were videos released about them, cursing and talking to the Saseng fans. So that made it more mainstream, because like the people were like, oh no, what are they doing with fans? Why are they cursing fans? And then the public later found out, oh, because they were Saseng fans. And like for example, Jaejong, were when he was, I think he was drunk at the time when he was talking to the fans that he cursed, because it was like he was stressed, especially because the split and stuff, and how the fans were following everywhere and stuff like that. So he cursed. I think some things happened. You'd even see videos of how these fans terrorize them. So it's so hard to discuss this, because like, how do you talk about these minors terrorizing idols without actually infringing these idols' privacy? Because to know what happened in private is, so okay, let me start with what I know, which is the Cassiopeia fandom stuff. So from what I know, there are a lot of instances wherein these fans go inside. For example, they go, what do you call this? They go rent a taxi, wherein that taxi would follow around the idol the whole day. So they it's called a private taxi cab. It started in TVXQ, because they had a lot of them. Like at some point, more than 10 cabs follow a single member. Some things like that. And also these cabs, they go for over for over 100 kilometers per hour, which means like they can cause accidents. And then so you follow around idols in these cabs. I remember a story of Jaejong attending a party of another actor for his birthday. And then when they look outside of the restaurant, all the cars of the guests, they were blocked by these taxis. So nobody can get out. So what they had to do was they had to talk to the fans, all the Sasaengs, because there were more than 10 cabs if I'm not mistaken. So they had to talk to the Sasaengs that they needed to leave. So what the Sasaengs did, so they were in the cars, they were in the cabs. They made way for other guests, for the other actors and whoever were there. They made way for them, so they got out. But then when an actor, I remember this was a story by an actor. When this actor Jisung, like it was his birthday party, when he turned around and looked, they were crowding around Jaejong's car. Like everyone else was able to leave, but then Jaejong's car was crowded again by these cabs, because they wanted, they wanted more pictures of Jaejong and stuff. So that's one of the things that's very vivid on my mind, because apparently private taxis wasn't a thing before TVXQ, and how these private taxis are employed by teenagers, by young adults who drop out of school. They don't, a lot of them don't even go home anymore. Some don't work. What they do is they pay with their body. Or like, if they needed money, sometimes, they'd go for prostitution to, this is so difficult to talk about, bro.
I know that we make jokes on like Stan or the fandoms that like, hey, selling kidney for like SG 2022 or something.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was real.
It's
It
real.
is.
Oh,
Like,
I am
They-
that's why I
am
told you guys to read this.
I am uncomfortable
there were-
making those jokes now.
There's like it's you rent a private taxi cab and you only have like 600,000 won and the cab is like 800,000 won. How do you pay for the 200? They sell their bodies. That's how
Yeah.
they do it.
Look, to me, that just mentions that aside from the fact that there's desperation coming from that, my takeaway is just by these three, by the short story that you've given me, and we're not even done, which is why I'm so shocked. But one, that drama I watched was apparently more accurate than I thought it was. Two, okay, that is a huge problem. I should stop making jokes about it. And three, and I think the biggest one for me is the fact that you enable the children. If you're a taxi driver, like I mean, I know that the economy's rough and you need money, but you're in like the fact that other people are complicit to this kind of behavior. It's just so, and it's so easy to take advantage of unassuming, very starstruck people. And like I know something's wrong systemically, but the fact that we people allowed it to happen, I think is a bigger problem too. Like people are complicit.
There are a lot of systems at play here. Because, I don't know if you guys know this, but they're like an organization. Sasaengs are like an organization. There's people at the head and people who are doing things for the person at the head.
Oh my
Usually
gosh,
the person
it's not organized.
usually the person
There's
at the head
systems
is
in
someone who
place.
has
Oh my
money.
gosh.
It's someone who has money. And like she or he, whoever, can pay for stuff to happen. Like this is the reason why they can hack the idols' phones, because they have people who work in the telecom industry.
Yeah.
People who remember Yvonne, you read the
Yeah, I read it.
Gbook.
Like there were these young adults would actually work not to feed themselves, but would work in credit card companies and telecom companies to get the details of these artists.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how
It's
they get
messed
the
up.
information.
Okay, so going back to the Sasaeng taxis, some of them have contracts wherein they willingly, remember this, willingly cause accidents. They want to cause accidents to the idols that they follow. I remember, like, was it Jejong or Yuchun
my gosh.
who was in an accident because of the taxis following him, things like that. Okay, a side note, but like I think this is one of the reasons why, I mean, maybe not just JYJ and TVXQ, but like a lot of idols have really fast cars. Because there are a lot of people who are following them. Because that's the thing that I noticed. I mean, I know they collect cars and stuff because, it's luxury and stuff. But I remember, like, JYJ and TVXQ, they need those cars because they get followed like at least 10 cabs a day.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's
not only
too
that,
hard.
not only private cars willingly contract to cause accidents to this artist, but the artists, while they try to avoid this cars, their followers, they get into an accident. I think someone broke their leg,
I think that's
someone broke their
Hitul.
arm, just because
Yeah.
of this extreme behavior of fans.
Yo, I was not ready for this discussion.
I
Like
know, I mean,
You
I
guys
did
should
some
have
of,
read it.
look, we were thinking, oh, it can't be that bad.
It's
Yeah, I
that
mean, no,
bad.
What we thought, it was already pretty bad. Who knew it could be worse? But
I
um,
mean, sure,
I remember-
stalking is bad. Yes,
Yeah,
it is, but like not
I didn't
this.
realize it was this violent.
Guys.
But I
Yeah, like it's the history. Everything happened in TVXQ. That's why I know it. And then I noticed it happening to like EXO and the newer
EXO.
idols, and I'm like, yeah, because it
insane.
was I think they organized it and stuff during, you know, TVXQ's time. So now, like, they know what to do
Yeah, that's the thing.
during
It's
other idols'
organized.
time.
Oh, that's insane. Like
It's so organized.
I remember. I think this was in 2019. I wasn't into K-pop yet then, but then it was from one of V from BTS, one of his V lives, and then he he was just like, okay, I'm just gonna speak for the group, and then he said na if they had the option, they wouldn't be taking private planes. They'd like to be on commercial flights, but it's just happened a number of times already that somehow fans, these so-called fans, they'll get their hands on their private flight info, so they buy tickets, they board the plane, so parang that you can't relax, you don't feel safe, and then it's just so,
That was a
I
scene in
don't
Her
know.
Private Life also.
Yeah.
Like,
And
Because
it's
it's a
true, you
thing.
think
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I remember
something
that.
for
I was,
life.
dude, I was thinking when I was watching that
Yeah.
it's like it can't be that bad, and now I feel like
Apparently
I
it's
have to
worse.
watch it
Oh.
again.
It's
I'm
fully
true.
gonna watch
appreciate
that. I'm
it.
gonna watch that.
It's really good, but it's so good, so good. But
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
scared
like
now.
Yeah,
you know
Yeah,
G Dragon. He
Yeah.
has pictures of him sleeping on a plane. Because people it's
wow,
that bad.
yeah, and
Like
I
even the
remember.
military,
Wasn't there
for
this like
example.
thing when BTS went to New York? There were like people got
Yeah,
their
yung
flight
recent lang.
infos, and now all I
Yeah.
could think of was like, it's a pandemic.
Yeah, I know. That's why there were, people still showed up to the airport, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I know that some people, like, I don't know how, but they attempted to follow them to their hotel. Hindi naman siguro nangyari, but stuff like that. And it just tinges everything with such a dark thing. I remember there's compilation videos of like funny compilation videos of like when the boys give spoilers. For example, I watch those like when BTS gives spoilers, and then some of the clips are of like they're doing a V live, maybe they're on tour, and then they forget to cover the menu or the room service menu of the hotel they're in. And then I just thought that it was funny, like, oh, okay, now you know where they're staying. Now I realize, oh my gosh, it's a real security issue, because if
It's an
people find
issue.
out, oh, they're staying at
So
that, oh my gosh, ang lala.
okay, so this at least like with this kind of fan behavior, this isn't the first time I've heard of something like this. Being a wrestling fan, I feel like female wrestlers also this happens to them a lot. Like especially
Yeah.
very creepy guys who like really follow flights and like ask for autographs or do worse things for people that have been on long flights who just want to rest. And I'm thinking, okay, so if it exists everywhere, how much worse could it be?
Sasaengs are so much worse.
It's something else.
Yay! Wrestling fans aren't the worst at something. Nice.
Oh my god.
Okay, so going back to wait, how do I say this? Because there's a lot. Okay, so you talked about how BTS forgot to cover, and then fans know where they are, hotels and stuff. It came to a point that these fans, let's not call them fans, Sasaengs, installed a CCTV camera in the building where Yuchun lived. Yeah. There are pictures of him from that CCTV camera of like being by the walls and looking around, because he knows he's usually followed, diba? So he knows na there's something, but he doesn't know what it is. And then you see these pictures from the CCTV camera. Oh, fans have a CCTV camera of the building. At the very least, it was the building, not the house itself. But, that's how messed up it is.
Girl, EXO, they set up in the hotel room
Yeah,
of one of the members.
I know.
The CCTV.
Yeah,
Even in the
that was something I
gym.
was going to talk.
Okay,
Yeah,
you know what?
Tao was seen like he was
You know what?
taking a bath. He was singing in the shower. There's a
That's
video of
right.
him because they were able to
This is horrible.
Look, okay.
have the
Yes,
CCTV
the
This is
camera on.
extremes.
this is the one thing that I feel like we're not talking about here though. Like shame on the people that set up the camera. I mean obviously, but shame on the people that shared the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
No,
lot.
the
Okay.
thing. the
There's
thing is,
layers
they
to
pay
this,
for it. I
no?
mean, they sell it.
Yeah.
They
I remember.
pay for
Shame
it.
on the people that bought it. Like, if you
Exactly. But
really
yeah,
love
that's
these
why
people, don't do that.
there's layers to this, no? Because it's like, okay, syempre there's the people who actually find out their private schedules. They take photos of them when they know they're not supposed to.
Mm,
But then there's also the level of people who, okay, you already see it online, for example, and then you still partake, you share it,
yeah.
you tweet it, stuff like that. But it's
Guys,
like you're also
I
complicit.
kind of realize like the line is paper
It's
thin
it's
because of
very
this
That's what I was
blurry.
allegation.
talking about.
Like,
When I started this, I was like, how do you talk about Sasaengs without talking about the idol's private life?
Yeah, you can't.
This is the
guys,
only time that I want to talk about an idol's private life
guys,
Yeah,
because we have
only
okay.
to talk
only
about
because of
Can
these
I
things.
can I share like something? Like, I was on Twitter
Sure.
last night, and like my group kind of broke the fandom because they posted pictures of them having a Halloween party, and Irene mentioned that she didn't bring a costume, she was just wearing Seolgi's clothes, and everyone thought, oh, that's so sweet, right? And then somebody made this tweet that I found kind of off-putting. It was basically like, what if she also borrowed her innerwear? And the only thing I thought of was like, this is where it
Bro.
starts, man. This is where it starts. Like, it
Anyway,
sounds
I
like
mean-
an innocent joke, but it's like, no, that's creepy.
Bro.
That's so creepy.
Girl,
Okay, there are a lot more.
I
they
know, but
Like,
like,
get ready.
I
they
mean, I know that
trespass,
there's a
they
lot
steal
more.
people's
It's
underwears.
it's really just like, for
Yeah.
me, it's where innocent behavior stops. Eh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So, parang it seems like in the moment it's like oh, funny joke,
Oh,
haha.
funny.
Oh,
But-
they're
but
shipped,
no.
but no. Lines crossed.
Alright.
Yes. All the time. So, okay, continuing on. There's a story of Do from XO wherein his underwear was stolen.
Also,
His
no.
underwear was stolen and it was auctioned off
Oh.
on the internet. Yes. And then
It's stuff like
going-
this that makes me ashamed to be like, associated with
Yeah.
this. Like,
So-
nahihiya na ako, guys.
But that's why, as fans, you have to, how parang our fandoms, that's why we have to go out of our way, but to not just separate ourselves from those sasaengs, but also calling them out. Because, like,
yeah.
Lala.
Okay. So there's so much. Going back to TVXQ. There's I remember there's a variety show wherein Yu Jae-suk was asking, the members, how was it since they were in Japan for a long time? How was it going back to Korea? And then they talk about one of the members, Jae-jong, talked about how he can't go out with his friends. So Yu Jae-suk asked why. He said, "Oh, I can't contact them." So, Jae-suk was asking, "Okay, so did they change their number?" And he was like, "No, I changed my number." So at the time, it was funny, like, oh my god, what the hell, dude? But then you realize it's because Sasaengs call him all the time. All the time. And it got to a point wherein a member, I think it was I remember it's between Jae-jong and Yuchun, but I don't remember who did what. But okay, here's the thing. One of them was by the Han River, and he wanted, to watch the sunrise. So he called the other one in the dorm. So he called the other one, but then it was a girl who
I think
answered the
Hyuchun
phone.
was the one he was calling.
Yeah, okay. So there, right? So it was a girl who answered the phone, and it was like, who are you? What's your relationship with my oppa? Things like that. It was so creepy because like
They cloned the phones.
yeah, they clone the phone, the number of the phone. They clone it. They check the contacts if there are girls. They check the contacts for stuff like that. I mean, it's not only that. If you're not familiar in Korea, I think also in Japan and China, I'm not sure, but like they have this thing where you have a so when go for documents, you have a seal. It came to a point wherein Sasaeng fans go in their homes, look for their seals because they want to stamp seals for a marriage contract. Yeah.
Girl, That's
They
how bad
they
they are.
look for seals to get married to the idol.
Okay, no, you know what? All of this, it just always boils down for me to why? Why would anyone? I don't
Why?
know. Yeah,
You
why?
know, some of them,
I
I
can't
think there was a
comprehend.
video that
because
was
they're
for
destined
interview.
to be together. Like when they sing about their songs, they're talking to me specifically.
You know, that's the thing. It's like, I mean, we joke about that, and it's fun to joke about that. Like, oh, they love
Fine
you.
line, man. There's a fine
Yeah.
line.
Wait, yeah, but how do people cross it when the something snap and then they're like,
The fact that you're asking that question means you're not at the mindset for you to think that way.
thank
I
you.
think
What a
we
relief.
have to remember going back. These are teenagers and young
Minors, young
adults.
adults.
Yeah.
So
So
impressionable.
yes, they're impressionable and like
I have
uh,
one case though that isn't about a teenager and it can get really bad. So we're gonna talk about
oh
that
yeah, I
later.
know that. I mean, some of these aren't teenagers, but it's usually them. That's the
Oh,
demographic. That's
that
usually I mean, I of course some of them are not teenagers now,
yeah.
but uh when this started,
Were
a lot of them were teenagers. No, I
You're
mean,
right, that's part of it because they're young and they're impressionable
yeah.
and they're still building their sense, I suppose, of right
Mm-hmm.
and wrong. Even just biologically, we're 25 years old before the what part of it is in your brain that when it's fully formed.
Ah,
So even
oh,
biologically, right? So stuff like that.
they're
I think
forming pa lang.
that also kind of begs the question like who do you hold accountable, who's gonna be held responsible, the parents of the teens for
Right,
like you're not
right.
monitoring what your kids are doing or
It's
diba?
so difficult to know, like,
Yeah.
how do we handle this? This is the reason why it's difficult to handle.
Yeah, oh my goodness, to think these companies, these entertainment companies are very powerful, they have money, they have means, and yet oh my goodness.
So here's my
Brave
take on the
Hi.
here's my take on the situation. I feel like the entire industry is wired in such a way that you're supposed to have a personal connection. They're called idols
Yeah.
for a reason. It's a parasocial relationship. These are like buzzwords that we take for granted, but the reality of the situation is that when you cultivate a culture that makes you feel as if you are as close to it as you are at this moment, some people might take that sense of entitlement a bit too far. Like,
True.
and it's kind of crazy if you think about it. This one person is catering to millions of people. It's crazy to think about. They're only pertaining to you, and that it's therefore justified for you to be able to do these things. But the reality is, the fact that we're not questioning the fact that we're questioning how can people think that means we're clearly not at the state of mind to think that's okay. But unfortunately, that's not the case for a lot of people. A lot of people probably think, I'll do anything for love and all that, and it's borderline criminal. Actually, not even borderline, it's criminal. But it represents like this it represents the problems of cultivating a parasocial relationship.
Yes. That's true.
No, for me, the idea that it's supposed to be called love, like there's terms like obsessive love or whatnot, but I don't think that's love
That's
in its
not
form.
love. Yeah.
It's not
It's
love. It's
not.
just obsession.
But you're right,
and
it's obsession, you're right, and they feel so possessive. I mean, even as simple as
yeah,
the fact that there are many who get upset when their idols fall in love or
Date.
even just date.
The
Diba? They
fact that
feel
they have
like
to
it's a
hide it,
betrayal.
they have to keep
They
it
have to hide it. They have to apologize. You're
Yeah.
like, and
Dude.
then I can't understand that. I understand being like, oh, they're not single anymore. Oh, that's kind of sad. I guess just for the sake of parang, oh, okay, that brings me back to reality a little bit. But those who are genuinely upset, those who they petition, okay, we have to boycott this person. Parang,
Yeah.
wow, how did you get to that point where you feel that possessive?
It's
And then they mistake it. Yeah,
yes.
they're like, you love this person, you want them to be
Yeah.
happy. But when they are, just because it's not you, they're like, no, you're canceled.
Again,
I think
True.
when this happened in
somebody
the
who
drama,
said it.
I was like, oh, that's crazy. I don't think that'll ever happen in real life. And it did.
That's
true.
It
It's a
actually does.
thing.
So please watch the drama. It's really good.
There's an idol who said something about it. I don't think you're supposed to call yourself fans. You're actually anti-fans.
Yeah.
because of what they do to you, to your mental health, to the idols' mental health. It's not being supportive anymore.
True.
It's damaging to them, and some of these sasaengs would actually hurt their idols, the idols they are fan of,
Changmin.
just
I
so they would be remembered, even if it's a bad memory. They'd be
True.
like,
yo,
at least they know me.
can we talk about
That's
the guy
how
that
bad it
can
is.
we talk about that guy that invaded SNSD performance to literally try to kidnap someone?
Kidnap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yun.
I sent that
Before
video.
you even
Video.
sent me that video, I've seen it and I was like,
It's messed up,
what?
right?
And the messed
So
up part was like the fact that it happened on live stage and somebody thought they could get
exactly.
away with it. I mean, like if you try to kidnap someone, and I mean, like I wouldn't know, but like you probably do it in a secret place, right? Not in front of fans in a concert.
It was in the middle of a
mean-
performance.
Yeah. So like they were at the tail end of performing Run Devil Run, right? And then there's this guy who just goes to Taeyeon and like grabs her. So the person behind her, I think it was Hyohyun, was shocked, so she froze and didn't know what to do. And then Sunny, the person in front of Taeyeon, she noticed what was happening and she was like, she followed the man. And then the MC, it's a good thing that the MC was there because he noticed and they were like tearing them apart because like, bro, you're kidnapping someone on live stage. And then the other members, they didn't know what was happening, but then when the performance was over, they turned around and they saw it. So everyone was shocked. There are a lot of videos of this online because like,
The
Who
fact that
does
somebody
that?
would even try to do like if I were to read the story correctly, like this person went through security, literally just said, "I'm
Yes.
one of the managers," and nobody questioned him, and it was just like, how do you even let this happen?
I mean, it's a thing because you have to understand that they have a job to do backstage, so they're assuming everyone who's backstage is supposed to be there, especially if they have like an ID or something. But the assumption is you're supposed to be there because you're already there. So that's the thing. So everyone's like, oh, okay. But then you notice, why is this man here? This is the reason why some sasaengs are able to like have backstage behind the scenes stuff. Like, okay, so I'm sorry I'm going back to TVXQ, but this is a really, really messed up story. Jae shot a movie. It was with Song Ji Hyo. During the shooting, the director I think he has a film academy or something, and he offered a tour of the filming set to students. But then when the
That
students,
movie. I read
yeah,
this. It's the movie with Song
Jackal is coming.
Ji-hyo.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So when the students came to the film set, Jejong just he became nervous and stuff, and then he hid. So when the staff went to him, they asked him, "What's going on? Why are you hiding?" And then he said, "I know these people. They follow me." So he was freaked out because even in the film set, they were able to follow him. So you have to understand that because they are organized, they sometimes they have money and stuff. So they can do these kinds of things. Like EXO was almost kidnapped. I mean, even which group was it? And another group was also almost kidnapped. Like they're able to rent almost similar, if not identical cars, for example, just so they can kidnap their idols. Things like that. Because that's how organized they can be. I remember like stories on how these sasaengs would leech international fans because they'd be like, "Oh, I'm a local fan. I can tour you around. I can help you with this." And then so they leech off this fan because they expect this international fan to, "Oh, okay, so you pay for these things," and then be like, "Oh, okay, so I'll help you go here and here and here and stuff like that."
I think
It's so
leech
messed
isn't the
up.
word, because I saw like some of them would actually bully
Yeah,
Normal
that's the thing
fans and
also.
international fans
Yeah, that's a thing
for
also.
money.
Now, they do these things like they pull your hair, they do this is not a joke. They um yeah, they hurt other fans. For example, you're not supposed to be here at this, this close to the idol. Go there at the back. So they push you, they kick you, they do stuff like that.
It can actually
It's
cause you not to
hard.
be able to attend concerts and
Yeah,
performances by the idols. That's how powerful they are and
yeah,
organized.
yeah. It's messed
Extreme,
up.
extreme. Horror stories
Um,
left to right.
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
starting to
So
wonder though, like, are we just hearing this because they're heavily publicized and technically in the Western world, this can also happen, or it's just so much more
Yeah,
prevalent here
I
that
think
that's why it's worse.
I think it is much more
hmm,
prevalent, but you're right that it also happens in the Western world.
yeah,
Like
it
I
does.
remember, was it in her documentary or in an interview where Taylor Swift said, the reason why like she knows how to do first aid and she really has a first aid kit in all of her homes it's because people show up their house armed.
Mm,
You know how it is in the States. They show up their house armed and they're there believing like, hey, I'm your husband, right? So that's why she has to be that level of secure. And that's
yeah.
just crazy to me that this happens to anyone at all. Diba? I remember, oh, okay, relevant, I guess. The other day I saw a TikTok on Twitter of someone responding to someone else's TikTok. Obviously I'm not on TikTok, right? But then the first video
Oh, you sent this. I remember.
yeah, the first part of the video was right. Adam Levine from Maroon 5 on stage, and then a fan jumped on stage, tried to hug him, and then security pulled her off immediately. But then his reaction, he was like, he shuddered. His face was clearly he was upset, and then
First
the
of all,
person
it's a pandemic.
yeah, first of all, right? And then the person who made the original TikTok, she was like, her take was, you know what? You treat your fans that way. Treat your fans better. Your fans make you. And then, but the person whose video I saw, she was correcting that. She was saying, it's about consent. It is. It's about consent. Like just because someone's famous doesn't mean that they're giving up, autonomy and agency over their body. And just because you support this person doesn't mean that you're entitled to their body. That's the thing. People think they're entitled to their body. Parang they forget that the only exchange that's happening is if you wanted to, I give you my support, maybe even my money for whatever it is you do, music or the videos or okay, fine merch. But then that's where the transaction ends. I
Okay.
don't understand how some people feel like
Meg,
the person themselves is part.
First of all, maybe your money. The second,
Definitely your money. Sorry.
yeah,
Money.
no. But the
Next
second,
Sunday.
Talking.
but the second thing I want to say about that is, I love the fact that response. I saw that same response, and I love
Yes,
that it's
yes.
really just calling out people that did that. My initial problem though is that had we reversed the genders, and like let's say this is like if it was Taylor Swift and somebody did that, that person would have automatically been like, they would have found out where he lived. They would have like found him on a registry. The fact that it happened because, oh, Adam Levine is like, a guy, like he can probably handle it. He shouldn't have been so entitled and disgusted when that happened. There's this weird sense of, like, I pay for your house, therefore I am now entitled
Yeah,
to
there
do
is a
whatever
double
I
standard.
want. And it's,
Also, depending on could be also depending on like the gender, sexuality of the person. You're right. Plus, maybe part of that is also, still the usual toxic masculinity thing where people are
Yeah,
like, you're a man, you should be able to defend yourself from a
yeah, that's
girl,
true.
ganun. But it's
you
horrible.
shouldn't have to.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
very
Yeah.
basic
have
human expectation, right? You shouldn't.
basic human decency, and yet,
Okay,
So messed up, right?
I have a messed up thing. Let me know if I can like interject if we can talk about this because you know more about this than I do. But I feel like this one
Yeah.
personally affects me as a fan, as a
And it's
male
open.
fan of female
Go.
idols. The creepiest Sasaeng story I know involves one of my favorite groups and has also involved my actual favorite group. So it involves Twice and Red Velvet for some reason. So there's this stalker. I don't want to give him clout by naming him, so we're just gonna call him Jay. You can probably search it on your own, but I'm not gonna name him because he does not deserve clout. This guy is a German national who once tried to approach Nayeon on a private plane to give her his love letters. This is a person who threatened to kill her if she ever dated secretly. It's like that's kind of messed up that you'd even think that and try to act on it, to the point where JYP got the government involved to try to get a restraining order. And the worst part is, I remember watching this video of like, I have proof that she loves me. First of all, she gave me this autograph with a restraining order. I'm just like, what? Are you... This autograph with a restraining order, it's kind of insane. But like, why is it... For me, it always gets worse because it's starting to involve more and more people. Like, Chaeyoung's number was leaked. I don't even know how he got Chaeyoung's number. He's German. Like, how... Like, does he have connections inside Korea? I don't even know. Yeri's address was leaked. Like, how do you know where these people live? And why are you threatening these people in the name of another person? And like, that's the weird part for me. It's like, yeah, there are people that threaten you with like these kinds of things, like causing accidents, but I didn't ever think there would ever be like, you know, that short story by Stephen King, Misery, with the obsessed fan. I've always thought this is at best probably just fiction, but like hearing all of these stories of like somebody who loves their idol so much that they're willing to kill them, not other people, them. That's messed up.
I think, okay, you guys have to remember that there have been artists killed by fans.
Yeah.
Selena,
John Lennon,
while
Christina
ago.
Grimmie.
Yes.
So many.
You have to remember
Selena.
that it's a thing. So, I don't understand how and why they do it, but
See, that's the thing though. Parang when we discuss things like this, it starts as like, but the thing is like, oh, these types of people, these so-called fans exist, but then it always gets bigger and bigger into, you know, talks of like, well, I guess mental stability, mental health of
Yeah.
people, support for that. What else? You know, also rape culture in general.
it's
everything.
societal expectations of, what you expect from your celebrities and stuff.
Once again, capitalism, because
Yes.
right, always.
I'm
you know,
sorry,
selling
What
but
you
it,
like,
what
selling
you
it.
expect from your
No.
celebrities? Nothing. Nothing. Don't. You're not entitled to them. I think
Hashtag
that
eat the
basically
rich.
no
Destroy
ethical
capitalism.
consumption.
Yeah, no, I think we always get back to that, but it's true.
Yeah, like, it's always there.
So
Okay, so
complicated,
Benj,
complex.
Benj talked about, his creepiest
Scariest.
story. Okay, so I have, like, there are a ton of them, but one of the creepiest stories is how even in spas, male-only spas and stuff like that, there are pictures of Jaejong sleeping because he can't sleep at home because, it's invaded and stuff. Yeah, so there are pictures of Jaejong sleeping in a spa. There are even fans who brag about, oh, I was able to kiss him while he was sleeping.
Again,
Yeah.
if you switch out the genders and put a female idol in that place, people would freak out way more.
I know. Oh, another really messed up
Almost
story,
started.
guys. Like, I think one of the freakiest stories I have encountered is from Tony Ann of HOT, first gen idol. So he already lives alone and stuff. I think he was working on a solo album or something. I'm not sure. So he'd get home and he's tired and stuff, so he'd rest, he'd sleep. And then one day he gets this nightmare that there's this woman watching him. So it's like, what the hell? So he sleeps again. And then as time goes on, um there's a dream of the woman touching him. So he freaks out. But then he's like, it's a dream, I'll sleep. And then one day, he goes home early. So not the usual time that he goes home. He goes home early, he's watching television, and he thinks he's alone. But then, a phone rings. And it's not his phone. So he has to trace where this phone is ringing. He goes to the kitchen, looks under the sink, and lo and behold, there's a phone ringing with a woman sleeping. A woman was sleeping under his sink, and her phone was ringing. So he had to talk to the woman. He woke her up, he talked to her, and then that woman was the woman in his dreams. And she was able to find, like, she was able to know his password, his home password, and she was able to easily go inside his house. And she usually, she usually goes when he was sleeping. But then, that time, the woman was already inside, and then that time, he got home early, so she had to hide. She hid under the sink, and she fell asleep. And then he was, he woke her up, he had to talk to her, syempre. And then, she told the story. But he, what will he do? He had to let her go. That's how messed up it is. He had to let her go.
If you told me that was a plot of a horror movie,
I was gonna say.
Right?
I'd believe
Right?
you.
That's
Yeah,
one
or
of
not
the
even. If
things.
you tell me that's a plot of a horror movie, I'd be like, I mean, that's a little far-fetched. My gosh. Lala. When you were starting pa lang, Jo, when you were saying that he had dreams that someone was watching him sleep, I'm sorry, but then at first I was like, oh my gosh, it's like Twilight, right? Edward was watching Bella sleep. And oh man. No, we can't talk about Twilight. That different episode. but serious talk, real talk. Ang lala. You know what? I
It's
feel
creepy.
another thing I
Mm.
think about is I feel like there's this assumption that just because these idols are, successful, they're wealthy, all of that stuff, na parang there's this assumption that you don't have problems, right? You're
Yeah.
rich, like,
Like,
right?
it
Like, I'm
negates
not.
any problem you could have.
Yes, right? Like, there's no way you have money, and yet there's people forget that they are people. So even if
Yeah.
they have much more privilege than us, of course, they're wealthy, etc., etc., they're still people, So,
It's creepy.
and in fact, in certain ways, they face more difficulties than us, because like stuff like that, we don't face those specific dangers, right, or threats to our lives.
I
So,
would never imagine somebody living under my sink.
Yeah.
diba? That's
I mean,
the stuff of
even
my.
going abroad, like going, to the airport. I think I linked a video of this.
Yeah.
Um, there's a reason why airport fashion is a thing now. Because a lot of fans, they know the schedule of the idol. They, I mean, all I know is, TVXQ and stuff. When it was their time, it wasn't a thing yet. But then, so many people go when, they go abroad. So many people go to the airport. Like, at some point, the video I linked is Junsu going to the airport, and it's like two floors of people watching him go to the flight and stuff. I remember, I mean, it's deleted now, but like, a video that freaked me the heck out was Jejong not even being able to walk. Like, he was dragged along by the crowd, like, because people want to see him and stuff. And like, it came to the point that the bodyguards, they were carrying him to go because he can't walk, because there are too many people watching him, and he was just going abroad. So that's how messed up it was. And people, like, they touch him
They
while
grope.
he was walking. Yes, they grope him.
That's
They
what it
Touches
is.
grope.
too
They
Yes,
subtle.
touch.
that's what it is, no? Because I mean, even just the fact that it's not with consent, even if it's like an arm, a hand, whatever, the fact that
And
it's
the,
without
the
consent,
you
that's
know the parts that they grope, it's like the butt, the
nine.
chest.
That's horrible.
It is. It's.
It
I mean,
is.
I mean, the members were able to talk about this on television in variety shows, how fans like to touch them in certain areas, and how some of their experiences. I remember even in a variety show how they were asked, "Oh, what's the difference between a Japanese fan and a Korean fan?" And then Changmin was like, "Oh, they speak Japanese. That's the difference." Cause like
I
at
saw that.
first,
Yeah, I saw
remember
it.
I
Yeah,
said
yeah,
that to
yeah,
you.
you did.
Yeah, cause at first, when Korean fans were doing the Sasaeng thing, Japanese fans weren't doing that. But then the Korean fans, they travel with them, so they go to Japan as well and stuff. And then the Japanese fans learned the ways of the Sasaeng, so some of them became Sasaengs as well. So it became a thing. That's how messed up it is. And how, I mean, even Chinese fans, they have Sasaeng Chinese fans. And, it comes to points like fans getting hurt just to be noticed by idols, and fans hurting idols because they want to be remembered. One of the most famous stories I remember is how Yunho, he pulled a girl, right, Vaughn? He
He
pulled a girl
saved
because
someone.
she was almost run over by a car or something. So he saved her. And then when not the fans, the Sasaengs, when they saw that, they would do that as well. They'd jump
They
in front
jump
of
in front of
cars.
cars.
They'd make barricades. Do you remember the crosswalk wherein fans were lying down? Yeah, they do that just so that the idol would notice them.
You know
And
what? Like there's how some find this fun. How Sasaengs find this fun.
I think
How
it's
they post with the
adrenaline and stuff.
KKKK,
Yeah.
and
It's for
how
clout.
some of them would giggle. Like there's this story I read about Jong Hyung-hwa from CN Blue. He was
Yeah.
rehearsing, but he was frustrated with how his guitar was sounding, and then suddenly he heard a giggle, and when he opened the cabinet, there was someone there. There was a sassing there. They find it, I don't know, I guess they're just really messed up in the mind, because some of them would actually send letters, bloody letters to these
Yes.
idols saying, I'll live for you, you
Menstruation.
can't live without me. Those kinds of things. Like,
Yeah. I
man,
mean, I've read stories
how?
of
Why?
a lot of idols receiving menstrual blood letters.
Yes.
Even just blood letters. I remember reading stories of idols going outside their houses and their poop outside because the Sasaengs poop outside their houses. Um, there's a story of, I think it's Super Junior, like they're fooling around in their, in, I think they were in their underwear, fooling around in their dorm. And then there's this Sasaeng fan who sent a message like something in along the lines of, "Oh, you guys are having fun right now. You guys are enjoying stuff like that." And then they just learned that the Sasaeng bought, I don't know, like across from their dorm,
Yeah,
and
they do that.
were watching them. And then like that dorm, there's a lot of graffiti outside because it's known that they were living there. I mean, a lot of idols have to move around a lot because Sasaengs always find out where they live, and it disturbs the neighbors. So, you have to
I
move
think
because,
like one of those is like a Lee Hyori,
yeah,
she had to sell her house because people were going there, like treating it like a tourist attraction kind of thing. And it's like
it's
they,
messed up.
like this this Sasaengs, they don't know the line
They
between
don't.
the private lives of their idols. They consider them, I think that was in the song, the wrong number one, like,
Yeah.
am I an item? Something like
Yeah.
that. Like they consider them theirs. That's why they
It's
can
true.
do this horrible things to them,
Mhm.
and they don't actually
This is
love
where
them in the
the
sense of the word.
commodification of your idols will
Yeah,
Yes,
come
it
to
goes
fore.
commodification
back
of your
to
idols.
commodification. I
Mm.
mean,
I mean, guys buy their photo cards and buy their
yeah,
albums, but you're not buying their lives Okay.
I mean, okay, so one
That's
of the things
because-
that I hate is, hurting the idols because they do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
why?
trick them just so they'd be remembered.
I mean, okay, Yvonne, remember the thing that I sent? How okay, so Jijong and Changmin were going to the comfort room, and then a Sasaeng was following. It was a Chinese Sasaeng of Jejong's, I think. So Changmin had to, she was stopped. He was like, you can't go there, stuff like that. But then this Sasaeng cursed Changmin. He was told, you won't die peacefully,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. You won't die peacefully. And he was thrown a bag full of rocks. Like there's a picture.
It wasn't thrown. He was
Oh yeah,
he
right,
was
right, right.
beat with it,
With a bag full of rocks.
full of rocks.
Yeah. With that, in line with that, we have Changmin being followed by a Sasaeng cab. So he went to the cab and talked to, the fans because the window was down. Yeah, that. So the window was down, so he was talking to them like, please don't follow, stuff like that. And then what the fan did was, I mean, not the fan, what the Saseng did was roll up the window, and Changmin's hand was still there. So I think his
His fingers were
his fingers
crushed.
were broken. Yeah, he had his fingers broken.
And you know what
And
the
then
Sasaeng was doing? They were laughing.
they were documenting it, and like they were proud of it. They posted it on the
They
internet, and
posted
they were
it.
proud of it. Yeah,
Oh,
that's how messed up they are.
horror story, guys.
I feel like
Oh, it's so
we need to
much.
do like a second part on creepy fans later, like maybe next year, because we're
Yeah.
actually like in the interest of time. There's a lot more to talk about in this
Yeah,
podcast.
we have to
but-
move on.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we
I
do.
all I gotta say to end this particular segment is that was a lot to unpack. We've had really heavy episodes for the past 3 episodes now,
Yeah.
and I guess the only takeaway I have that would to keep my sanity is hearing all of these stories makes me understand why there's such a huge stigma in this particular hobby, in this fandom. So all I gotta say, if anybody's listening out there, is please don't be the reason why being a part of this fandom is something to be ashamed of.
And guys, think about the happiness of your idols that you
Yes.
idolize. You're not making them happy by calling them day and
Breaking
night,
their fingers,
breaking their
Yes.
fingers, trespassing in their homes,
threatening to murder
actually,
them, threatening to
we call
murder their
this-
friends.
yeah, trying to and bothering their family members. It's
Ah,
not.
that's such a
Nobody
messed up thing.
nobody thinks that you have clout. If they do, they're probably just as bad as you are. But if you really, truly have any ounce of respect for the people that bring you happiness, you will reciprocate by giving them the peace that
Their
they deserve
privacy.
to.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Give them
also,
rest, guys.
also just in general, if you or someone you can notice that the obsessive part is starting, maybe talk to someone, maybe because this could be just a manifestation of something else, right? Something else internal, something with you. So treat that, get help for that, such that you won't cause harm to anyone that you supposedly love, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, idols love their fans, but they don't love you that way. There are different kinds of love. You have to remember that, and we have to respect one another. The idols respect you by performing properly, by giving you albums, merch, things like that, and you have to respect your idols by giving them the privacy that they deserve, that they need. It's not a want, it's a need. Because they are human. They are human beings who have to have lives. You have to remember that being an idol is work. It does not mean that that's their whole life. There you have it.